So on TikTok, a fan of the Heat Check sent me a message with the following question. Why aren't we talking about the Charlotte Hornets as a dysfunctional team? That's a good question. You know what? I guess because they're not relevant in any way from a contending standpoint, but still, in terms of dysfunction, function, what's your function? It's right up there. How come, where's Miles Bridges? Does anyone know what his timeline is? Is there a timeline? Is there a timeline with the Hornets and Miles Bridges? Am I out of the loop? Because I feel like I don't know what's going on there. I have no idea. He was supposed to get the max contract. I don't think they've rescinded his offer. Who knows? But listen, when you've got your centerpiece outside of LaMelo Ball, your other centerpiece star going down for domestic violence against all kinds of folks, that's strike one. That's absolutely chaos. That was one of the things that was talked about most at Summer League is like, what's going to happen with Miles Bridges? Like, what's Charlotte going to do? And up until a few days ago, there was pretty much no news about him, right? Now we learn that his domestic violence case has been pushed back from September 29th to October 7th. That is the third time, folks, that has been postponed. Presumably, nothing's going to happen concerning his future until all of this is finalized. But I tell you what, it's a big-time storm cloud over a franchise. We know that. Sports Illustrated reported that Bridges' status to possibly rejoin the Charlotte Hornets before the start of the season. Very much in doubt, obviously. Yeah, okay, Captain Obvious. There you are. Great reporting. And as his whole career in the NBA as a whole. I mean, did you see the photos? Obviously. The kind of risk that you face when you're not facing 1 but 3 felony counts, including 2 felony child abuse charges. So that's just one thing facing the Charlotte Hornets. The best thing, I think, about all of the issues and drama and chaos surrounding these NBA teams is they all have their own brand of fucked up. There's not like an overarching theme this year. Each one, I mean, it's just kind of like dealer's choice. We've got isms, we've got abuse, we've got sexual misconduct, we have vulgar language, like Adam Levine, sexting. I imagine that's got to be one reason why no one's talking about the Hornets very much. Hornets also, other questions that they have to deal with. First, do we have clarity on why Kenny Atkinson decided to say no to the deal was in writing, the ink was drying, and he decided last minute to pull a switcheroo. Does anyone know why, truthfully? Like, what really happened? Because I'd like to know. He chose to remain an assistant rather than take a head coaching job. Who does that? As Brian Windhorst would say, why would he do that? Very weird. What did he see? What came out? Maybe it was Miles Bridges. Who knows? I need clarification. It's very, very rare that an NBA franchise is left at the altar by a potential head coach. Another question looming. Where is Gordon Hayward? What's happening with him? He was this huge part of the offseason rumor mill and just nothing. He was supposed to go to Brooklyn maybe Utah for picks. Apparently staying put in Charlotte. And Gordon Hayward, he's a good player, always injured. And which is why being ruled out for the first preseason game is hardly surprising, but also problematic. Knee injury again, acting up. And if you're a Hornets fan, for the amount of money that they've paid him, that's got to be concerning. Coming out of the late offseason when you're supposed to be at your healthiest, the fact that you're getting a late scratch, coming off of a glorified scrimmage, I would put that in the category of ruh-roh. Third, at one point I didn't even remember who the head coach of the Hornets is at this very moment. Think to yourself, do not Google this, who's the head coach of the Charlotte Hornets right now? Yeah, who is he? Venture a guess. Is he young? Is he old? Has he ever coached before? These are all questions that I couldn't remember. It's Steve Clifford. Steve Clifford. If you're saying to yourself, wait, didn't he already coach the Charlotte Hornets? Yes, he did, folks. He also coached the Orlando Magic. He's partying like it's 2016 all over again. Second time around for good old Cliff. probably shouldn't have been the fall guy for the Orlando Magic because, truthfully, as bad as he is and was, he still figured out a way to make Vucevic look serviceable enough where the Chicago Bulls paid 4 first-round picks for him. So he was doing something right. He didn't make him look like as much of a defensive liability as he is in Chicago. They gutted the Magic, like the fishing tournament director on TikTok who sliced open those fish only to find lead weights in their bellies. Like, it was like that, right? Clifford coached, in case you want a little history lesson, he coached the Hornets from 2013 to 2018. He knows Mike. He knows this organization. That, at that point, was his very first head coaching job. And yet, still, he chose to come back after being fired. Isn't this kind of like being dumped by your high school girlfriend who leaves you for another guy, and then she dumps him just for the chance to date Kenny Atkinson, and then when Kenny Atkinson bolts, she comes back and is like, it's always been me and you, you know? Like, hey, baby, what you doing? WID on the late night tip. I can't stop thinking about all those good times that me and you had back in Chuck's Notes 2014. What? Steve Clifford came home to Charlotte. What does it mean? Probably a lot of LaMelo Ball. Probably not much Gordon Hayward. Probably a lot of Kelly Oubre chucking. But honestly, that could have been any coach except for Kenny Atkinson. He would have not let that stand. No shot. Jalen Duren's a Detroit Piston. Mark Williams looking around thinking, what have we gotten ourselves into? The Charlotte Hornets, folks, you're right. They should be in the bucket of most dysfunctional organizations. I am sorry I didn't bring them up. They don't exactly come top of mind.